The prison at the edge of nowhere, the town of Soliletsk lies deep in southern Russia, close to the Kazakhstan border. It's quiet, too quiet. A place where the wind drags dust through empty streets and snow settles on roofs like a muffler over forgotten voices. But beyond its edges, surrounded by layers of fencing, motion sensors, and guard towers, stands a compound that most Russians have only heard of in whispers. Black Dolphin. Officially known as Penal Colony No. 6, but among prisoners and guards, it's earned a different name, the place where the sun never rises. Inside its iron perimeter, nearly 700 men live behind reinforced steel doors. Each one has taken multiple lives, some dozens. The guards have a saying, every inmate here is someone's nightmare made flesh. The first thing that greets new arrivals isn't a cell, it's humiliation. When a prisoner enters Black Dolphin, he's forced into a position that feels almost inhuman. He's bent forward at the waist, wrists cuffed behind his back, head down, eyes fixed on the floor. Two guards walk on either side of him, holding his arms up by force. It's called the escort posture. The message is simple, you are not a man anymore. The arrival on a freezing February morning, a gray prison van rolled up to the front gate. Inside was Sergei Volkov, a 38-year-old former soldier convicted of killing an entire family during a home robbery gone wrong. He had been sentenced to life imprisonment without parole, transferred from another colony after attacking a guard. Volkov wasn't new to prison life. But as he stepped out, chained and shivering in the -20°C air, he realized this place wasn't just a prison, it was a machine designed to erase identity. Guards barked commands in clipped tones. A camera lens followed his every move. Even the walk from the gate to the cell block was choreographed. Every 10 meters, a new guard took over, while the previous one shouted his inmate number into a recorder. No names here. Only numbers. Life measured in steps. Volkov's cell was 3 meters long and 2 meters wide. Concrete walls, an iron bunk, a small metal sink, and a toilet bolted to the floor. A single dim bulb cast pale light over the gray floor, a light that never turned off. The window, high above, was frosted and barred with thick steel. Through it, you could sense daylight, but never see the sun. Cameras stared from every angle. There was nowhere to hide, not even in your sleep. At 6 a.m., the loudspeaker blared. Stand up. Every inmate had to rise instantly. Sitting or lying down during the day was forbidden. Guards made rounds every 15 minutes, peering through the peepholes like watchful predators. Their footsteps became the rhythm of survival, the pulse of the Black Dolphin. Discipline and dehumanization. Breakfast came at 6:30, watery porridge, black bread, and weak tea. Then came inspection hour. The guards searched every cell, every object, even the pages of books. Prisoners stood motionless, arms straight, eyes forward. Volkov quickly learned the rules weren't just about control, they were psychological warfare. The same meals. The same sounds. The same endless cycle. Inside Black Dolphin, time doesn't move, it dissolves. The guards never smiled, never used first names, and never allowed conversation. Even the act of walking was stripped of humanity. Inmates had to shuffle forward bent at the waist, head down, hands cuffed behind them, as if they were permanently apologizing to the earth beneath their feet. The others. There were whispers of the famous ones, killers whose names filled Russian headlines. Alexander Pichushkin, the chessboard killer, who once vowed to kill as many people as there were squares on a chessboard. Vladimir Nikolaev, who murdered and then ate his victims. And Viktor Krasnov, a former police officer turned murderer, who now spent his days staring at the walls he once sent others behind. Volkov saw them during morning exercise, 1 hour per day in a cage-like yard, fenced on all sides and covered on top. The sky above was a mesh of bars. They walked in circles, each man silent, each face pale and hollow. The sound of boots crunching on gravel echoed like the ticking of a clock that no longer mattered. The guards' eyes. For the guards, working at Black Dolphin wasn't a job, it was a discipline of control. They were trained to see prisoners as objects of routine, not people. Any slip in procedure could cost them their position, or their safety. Volkov noticed that the guards never looked directly into inmates' eyes. It was as if they feared something, not the prisoners themselves, but what they might see reflected back, the emptiness, the reminder that a man can be erased while still breathing. There were rumors among staff that no prisoner had ever escaped, and none ever would. The design of the facility ensured it. Multiple locked zones, steel doors that only open one at a time, motion detectors, surveillance in every hallway. Even if you made it past the first few barriers, you'd be stopped by the sound, alarms so loud they disorient the brain and make your legs feel like they've turned to water. The dolphin that watches outside the main building stood a black-painted metal sculpture of a dolphin. It had been welded together by inmates decades earlier, a relic from the prison's past when it still had a workshop. Over the years, it had become a kind of symbol. The guards called it the Watcher. Every prisoner entering the colony walked past it, head bowed. Some believed it was there to remind them of what they would never have again: freedom, movement, life beyond iron. One former warden once told reporters, "The dolphin is the only thing here that still has a soul." Volkov stared at it through the frost-glazed window one morning and wondered what kind of mind had built something so graceful inside a place meant only for punishment. The unseen sun weeks turned into months. Volkov's muscles began to weaken from the stillness. He no longer dreamed. Sleep came in short bursts, interrupted by flashlight beams and the clanging of keys. He once asked a guard during inspection, "When will I see the sun again?" The guard paused for half a second, then looked straight ahead. "You won't." That night, Volkov sat awake, his hands trembling slightly, staring at the flickering bulb overhead. He realized that inside Black Dolphin, the true punishment wasn't isolation, or cold, or hunger. It was eternal wakefulness, being alive in a place that had no life. As snow drifted outside the walls and another dawn passed unseen, Volkov's reflection in the cell's metal mirror began to fade under the dim light. Not because of darkness, but because he was becoming one with it.